My swagger on point like a crossbow. Doing that shackle in the front row. My be my on point like your tight cheese. Dani kutoe boga chako si kutengwe kubabe na ofo my ofewa. Dodimo aera. Max Maponyane got the black clock. Fuck that. A47 go tack tack. You fuck with Chapumba you go black tack. Like a piece on the chest I don't go back. I'm done with the album right now. Ngaina di haroki lare na yenena. Ngaina di haroki kosera. Hino kuango kuya dino. Hino kuango kuya. Fine girl, treating me well, blow me like a bubble. Katuranga la deep in my pants. I say that's a new friend. I'm all gold, so these niggas gonna catch up. My brothers been having no gun tripper. Got this put them on road tapper. Baby, after the show, I do get running up. Then we go to my home, baby, let's get it on. I never had bad timing. Your boyfriend broke like Hyman. Ngaina di haroki lare na yenena. Ngaina di haroki kosera.
I'm well and truly impressed with local music of late, man. This is Exit featuring Ethnics, Esho and Page with Nena. Definitely loving the music this morning. 16 minutes past 8 on the morning mix. Good morning and welcome back to our second live stream for this morning.
Now this morning when I came into the studio, I heard a song of Bruno Mars playing, and I was shocked.
Why?
Walking into the studio and there was a song of Bruno Mars playing.
Why? I
was asking Shines and Tatenawanas. It's a no. Ow. So we're going international for the first time.
We always play international as well.
As a belief. Huh? When I'm here for the hour or two that I'm here, it's local. There's nothing wrong with local.
No. Let me tell you
local music.
Why you hear local most. I'm sure even some of the guys who only watch us on Facebook think we only play local music.
Yeah.
If we play an international song on our video on Facebook is going to cut the video.
Why?
Because you need to pay royalties.
Oh.
Yes. That's why we're always playing local music.
I see.
Because Facebook is not going to throw us out if we are playing local music.
Oh, hamba.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's a good reason.
Yeah.
I think with the previous SABC CEO, I can't remember what is his name. Snaksa Maniki Day.
SABK.
Yeah,
SAIK.
He introduced a policy to say that they only play South African music on the airwaves to boost South African music,
of course,
in South Africa, which is good, and that is one thing that we also need to do.
Okay,
Comrade Fabian, do you have a favorite Namibian artist?
I'm friend with most of them. And there's a reason they are all my favorite.
It's a very diplomatic answer.
Yes, good morning, Fabian. Happy New Year. Welcome back. We haven't spoken this year.
Thank you. Yes. I'm ecstatic to be back. with rejuvenated energy. And my holiday was fantastic. I even forgot for a minute that I was a police officer.
City.
Because I went to David Daloka, wild.
Okay. Living la vida loca.
So did you travel? Were you on holiday?
I was on holiday. I was all over. I was in Ongwediva. I was at the coast, Walvis Bay, Swakop. I was all over.
Okay.
Yes.
Well rested.
Well rested,
When
yes.
did you start?
I started about a week ago.
Okay.
And I see that everything is under control. Our colleagues, they kept the fire burning.
Okay, that's good. So Fabian, probably the biggest story of in the news right now, as far as policing goes, is the murder case, the body that was found this weekend of the young child. Maybe you can just give us a bit more information on that.
I was one of the first officers that attended the scene. It happened in Oiva Street, Windhoek North, just on your way to Central Hospital. And information that we gathered as a first respondent was that the body was in a skip container. It was discovered by a retired teacher who noticed a smell coming out of the skip container. And upon curiosity, decided to look, and he saw a body that was still slightly also burning. And after that, he alerted us, and we came to the scene. And just to go slightly a bit further, we have cameras in that area. And with that camera, we managed to pick up something together with our NAMPOL counterparts. Without preempting the investigation, those information, they seem like they will lead somewhere, the images that were gathered. So we are hoping that it will result in us finding out those that are responsible. Investigations are ongoing, and they are very... it's a very sensitive case,
yes,
but we
yes,
hope
indeed.
we'll get something.
It's just incredible. Like I saw the news in the morning when I woke up, and it just rocked my morning, man. Just so for the public out there, the general public, what can we do to assist police in this particular case, especially?
What we can do, if your pockets are deeper enough, mobilize other members so that you can maybe solicit funds for cameras, CCTV camera. They really do help.
Yeah,
like in this case, we pick up some very useful information that we believe that might lead to a good closure for this case. So what we are simply saying, if you can install even cameras within your yacht, it makes a big difference in a situation that we might need to gather information, and as well as community working together in terms of putting one in the street, which will be monitored by city police. It makes a big difference.
Definitely, yeah.
I think it, like Cubase, like you do say, it's one of the most shocking incidents of crime that we witnessed again over the weekend. And at least some of the CCTV footage that we've seen seems to be like these two suspects. They were pulling this wheelie bin to this big, what do you call this thing?
Skip container.
Yes, skip container. Ons ken het Astrom.
Yes.
Skip container. Astrom. And it's so disturbing to see something like that. And as I said to you now before we went on air, it's the most, for me personally, it's the most difficult thing to see, a child or a very old person in distress. And I would rather, if there are people who do have images of this poor child, please don't share it on social media. If there are people who did take pictures of the body of this child, I beg you, don't share that on social media out of respect for this child. That's
Absolutely. All. And looking on to other issue, this weekend alone we had another incident of a tragic scenery was observed at Windhoek Olympia swimming pool, where two children, minor rather, one is age 4, one is 6. they lost their lives after they succumbed to the swimming pool. Mm-hmm. It's very sad for a parent to lose two children because they belong to one parent. At the same time, it's unimaginable. And with that, we just like to call on parents and legal guardians to redouble their effort in terms of supervising their little one.
Yeah.
Every few minutes, always be on the lookout on their whereabouts, on what they are up to. Because, children, they are beings who are very curious. They get bored easily. Yeah. And if you keep your eye away from them, before you know it, they will be doing something that they are not supposed to do. Yeah. So this should be a wake-up call that we should always be mindful when it comes to our children, what they are up to and so forth. And we are really been receiving a lot of cases of lately of children that are brought to our offices and other police stations where parents are nowhere to be seen. They are found wandering in the street. Lost children, which is very bad, because what we have picked up is that sometimes there is no communication between the pre-primary and the parents in terms of who should pick up the child, and at times parents are late at coming at this institution to pick up their children, and children just go off wandering. That's another concern.
Fabian, when I saw that news yesterday afternoon around 5 o'clock about the two big, and in fact I was very close to Olympia swimming pool yesterday because I took my kids to the go-karts. So we were at the go-karts area, and I got this on WhatsApp that two children just drowned not very far from us at the Olympia swimming pool. But what I understood was these were so both children belong to one parent.
Yes.
They
are brothers.
Because the information that we got was that it's two mothers who were in the pool. But this is even more devastating to hear that it's one mother losing two children at once.
For a parent to lose a child, it's devastating. To lose two children in one go, our sincere condolences to that family.
Okay, now, who did you caught this weekend of my friends?
Who's going to call you for bail money?
So one of my friends who will remain nameless for now got caught during the week for drunk driving. And I think he came from I won't say from where he came from, then people will know who I'm talking about. But he was apprehended at like 4 o'clock in the morning. Fabian, can't you guys just go to sleep? Can't you just leave us alone so we can just kabaza? 4 uur in the ochtend. And it was in the week. It's not even a weekend.
4 in the morning.
4 in the morning, he drove from somewhere. Man, I was beginning kabaza. They caught him somewhere. Toegekap. And I think the guys were trying to secure bail money for him and stuff like that. And
I always say there's nothing wrong to have a friend who doesn't drink. You go out with this friend, you buy him a 2-liter cool drink. When it's time for you to go home, he takes over the
driving duties.
The driving.
But those guys are boring. So he's just standing there the whole time. He's not even partaking.
But how does the statistics look like, especially from December 2019 to December 2018? The cases of drunk driving. But what's the statistics looking like now?
Interestingly enough, despite the 8,000 fine, there was a lot of incidents of people under the influence of alcohol. I don't know if they are they don't care about the fine, but we have seen that they were across now, comparing Windhoek to other regions, I think the number was significantly high. We expected it to be a great reduction.
Okay.
But however, there was still a number of people that were under the influence of alcohol. I don't have the exact nitty-gritties in terms of numbers, but what also made the number great is the fact that strategically we position ourselves at place of drinking, where when somebody is under the influence of alcohol, we set up a perimeter. Because we know...
Seriously, man, you guys are... So you just pohuki.
Yeah, because the whole idea, we knew that if you're going to be drinking, why should you drive? So we strategically set up our operation in such a way that we were able to catch a lot of individuals with the aim of preventing such people from future doing the same.
Yeah. Het jy al gesien how some of the predators in the wild, hulle sit en wag daar by die boswerkstation. It's like hy sal uitkom.
So you guys just sit there and
I
wait.
know they're gonna come out of that hole. They ain't there.
And it's funny, you know, it's a good thing that you're mentioning now, Fabian, because I think a lot of time it happens that you come out of a drinking hole and you think, they will not be here. They probably over there waiting. Yeah.
It's like playing a game of Russian roulette, where you put one bullet in the chamber and you spin it.
And you spin it.
You are taking a big risk.
Yeah.
Another issue that stood out the most, theft under false pretenses. Up to date, we are having 39 cases stretching from the 1st of this month of theft under false pretenses. They are happening in a form where a person just look for victims that are very vulnerable.
Yeah.
They are desperate to get accommodation. They are desperate to register in a faculty. They tell them that, no, I'm connected here. If you top up with a 2,000, I'll make sure that you get in this institution. And others, what they will do, they look at notice board. Often at notice board, there's numbers of students looking for services.
Yes.
They get those numbers and they will tell them, for example, that I can help you to move your item in the hostel, or I can help you with regard to what you want. Only later, when they meet up, this person will either get robbed or this person will end up being conned. What we are advising to that effect, we are just saying, whatever service that you need, always make use of referral. For example, Neville might have in the past made use of a service of a certain somebody. Now, if I'm moving my items or I need service to that effect in that line, then I'll rather go through Neville, who knows that person, saying, last time I was assisted by this person is really good, for example, cleaning the carpets or cleaning whatever. They are good, and here is their number. I'll rather go through referral as opposed to putting my number on a notice board where any random stranger will just tell you, I saw this notice, I can help you. They end up conning you, or they end up even robbing you in your house. What else stood out was these guys that are breaking into property with pangas. These guys, the number really went up, it shoot up in terms of coming at houses. What they normally do, they drive with a vehicle. They have a getaway vehicle. When they see a yard is open, a gate, they rush in 3-4 minutes in and out. They take whatever they can, and they will just be pointing those pangas. They won't even give you a chance to, even if you have a firearm, there won't be time for you to even think of your firearm. They gather whatever they can. They get in the getaway vehicle, and off they go. The biggest concern that we are having is our legal system is failing us. Most of these individuals that are involved, these suspects, we have profiled them, we have arrested them several times, but after a while you just see the person is back on the street. This way the challenge is habitual offender with lot of numerous cases. Sometimes you find even somebody's on bail, they go commit another crime, and they go off again on bail on a different crime. Now, it defies all logic. So those are some of the challenges that we are facing with. Public members are blaming us that we are arresting these people, but they are coming out. What they don't know is that we are first respondents. And the moment we arrest, that's as far as we go.
The legal
Once
system
the person
takes
is arrested, the legal system kicks in. The advice that I like giving to the general public is that City of Windhoek it consists of a structure of councillors. We have the mayor, we have the deputy mayor, we have the management committees. These are people that influence changes. So if you have queries of habitual offender coming out, why don't you go to their offices? They have open door policies, then you address these issues so that these people are kept away from society for good.
Yes, please. And this year you are voting for these people, so they will definitely listening to you. They will listen, just go to them. They want votes this year. Mr. Fabian, it's always a pleasure having you in studio. But we have to say goodbye to you for this morning. Thank you very much for joining us. Next weekend you'll be back on Monday?
Absolutely. And before we end off the show, our emergency numbers are readily there. They are easy to memorize or to internalize. It's like taking a candy from a baby. That's how easy that you can take them away from me. 061 302 302. Alternatively, SMS line number 4444. Once you dial all those numbers, you can reach us on a 24-hour basis. And thank you for having me. Have yourself a lovely Monday and a lovely week ahead.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fabian.
Thank you so much, my brother. So, we will just allow you to slide out of the studio. We will relieve you, and then we will continue with our show.
All right. I'm sure Maria is going to step in a little bit. Let me just read some comments. Of course, some of them are directed towards Mr. Fabian. In any case, I'm sure he is also going to read through some of them during the course of the day. Paulus Ndapewa saying, Moro guys, iman had a fresh haircut. It's enough an iman.
Sorry, that is what Fabian said, that you got a fresh haircut. Man, het gepay.
Gulo Kalupeteka saying, Fera. We haven't seen you in a while, Gulo.
Gulo, where are you?
Yeah, where have you been, my guy? Amuniela Maxton, I thought you're updating us, guys. Rivaldo Ronaldinho April saying, Goeiemorgen, my mense. True from Miriam Kahuhuena, Moro from Tengekea. Robert Ngidipo also saying Moro. Good morning from Nangukui.
Miriam Kahuhuena. It's the model, eh?
Yes.
Toch, ne?
Yes.
Yeah.
She says, great energy, Mr. Policeman.
Yeah.
Maureen Hinjo saying morning. Good morning from Frida de Klerk Manas. Okay. A bunch of, good morning messages.
So Miriam is she Kamare met?
Met wie? Lost I Look at how Maria's looking away.
Maria is like
vroeg in die oggend.
Like over there.
Morgen. Het jy even van Maria gegroet jy?
Nee, ek het vir
Oh, we saw each other, of course.
Morgen, Maria.
You're acting like we didn't say good morning already.
I want you to say good morning on air. How was the weekend?
It was good.
Yeah,
Good weekend.
I had a crappy weekend, but I'm at least good this morning because the neighbor finally paid the Wi-Fi. Yes. We are back on. Yes. Right. We need to run through some news items from this weekend. Like I said, there's so much to talk about. I think we can start with the video from Mega Safe. Gobabes.
Yo.
What video is this? Huh?
Het jy nie gesien hoe klap die boer die?
Oh, yes.
Die man.
For the assault.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes.
I saw a story on it. I think Norman Shombe.
Yeah.
is taking on the case,
Providing free pro bono.
Yeah, but
legal.
you know what was interesting was sort of the divide on social media when the video first came out. The debates, reading how I guess different people view racism. I don't know how to explain it because it was so weird how there were so many people who were actually rushing to the defense of Mr. Deval, I believe his name is.
He's been fired since.
Yeah, he's been fired, yeah.
And trying to sort of rationalize die persoon het miskien dit gemaak, trying to make excuses basically for the behavior.
Yeah, what we understand is well, in this case, the victim allegedly stole. And he was, I counted no less than 5 smacks across the face.
Yeah.
And a few to the body. So, I mean, whatever the crime was, supposed crime, nothing. There's just absolutely nothing to justify
We
that.
have Fabian them who
Maar
deal
no,
with those things.
het ek 'n vraag vir julle. Because this one, for me, I precisely and intentionally took it somewhere else. You two are pro spanking, hitting children. Wait. No, let's bring the debate closer to home. This man, this Mr. Duval or whatever, was smacking this guy to discipline him. Discipline. Inverted commas, those that can't see.
Yeah.
All right? To discipline this guy for stealing, which is ultimately what we do with our kids when we beat them. We're disciplining them for something they supposedly did that they shouldn't have done. Why do we see fault, right? A grown man being disciplined for a crime, but we see no fault with a child being disciplined for a crime?
Okay. Firstly, he is not Mr. Afrikaner's father. You do not discipline. You do not go discipline people out in the streets.
That's even a flawed logic.
Discipline. No.
I see how you pump yourself.
That's what I was saying. It's a flawed logic that you can only discipline your kids.
Hello. If we're all talking at the same time, then this is not going to go anywhere.
Continue. Sorry.
Yes. Look, it's like the same. I would not want, for instance, a teacher to build my child. Maar ek sal homself slaan. It's like, as a kind iets gedoen het, I'm sure there are discipline mechanisms in the school, but then you also don't want the teachers to beat your child because, sometimes it tends to become abuse. Like in this case, that wasn't even discipline. How was that discipline? That was abuse. That was physical abuse.
But that's how some of the parents discipline their kids.
No, I don't smack my kids across
the face.
No,
you don't, but let's acknowledge that that's what happens.
No, but the ones who do that are not disciplining, they're abusing. It's the same as this. It's abuse.
Maria.
Yes.
Okay, but if you look at the textbook dictionary explanation of what abuse is, it's inserting any physical force on somebody. That's abuse. But so that's physical abuse. So I'm saying whichever way we want to sugarcoat this, when you hit a child and they feel pain, right, because you've inserted force on them, that is actually physical assault. It's physical abuse. It constitutes that. It's like smacking your partner once in the face, right? Okay. It's embarrassing, yes. But in that is abuse.
Maybe just to come in there, Mr. Duval, whoever he is, you can see that, and this is now obviously how I see this difference. There's this condescending posture and attitude that Mr. Duval is having towards this man who stands in front of him. Very superior. I basically reign over you. And you can see, for me personally, there's more than just a condescending attitude that he has towards this man. For me, it's racial. That's racial. He beat this guy, okay? What I do at home, okay, I did in the past, I did smack the bottom of my son or my daughter, okay, in a very, in a specific area where I feel that is not abuse, okay, which exert discipline on my child. That is abuse for me.
Maria's giggling though.
She can giggle, I don't care. And that little dictionary that you do read that basically explains to what you think and feel, I don't go by that dictionary. I will not live by the dictionary.
And that's great. Let's just all acknowledge, right? Yeah. I'm laughing because he's saying, this tone of condescending. What do you think a parent does to a child? It's that authoritativeness. But in any event.
No, but Maria, you can't compare, for instance, QBR, disciplining QZ at home and QBR's making Nebel around at work. It's two completely different things.
That's what I'm trying to say. For me, it's the same thing. But
no,
in any
for
event,
you, it's the same
that's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Ultimately, what I was going to get
Hold
to.
on, you must listen to her also.
Ultimately, what I was going to get to is that human beings are very fickle in that sense. It's so funny how I was laughing, actually, at this whole thing because people that are pro-spanking were like very irate. Like, how could... Nia, it's and I was like, whoa, actually, but this, there's really no difference. It's funny when you are in that situation that you don't see a difference. And obviously everybody gets very defensive. Like, no, but I do it within certain measures. I do it this way. I do, and you guys might. But I mean, we must also acknowledge that not everybody is as in control of their emotions and feelings when disciplining a child.
But when anybody who does that to their child, for whatever reason, that is abuse. That's not how you discipline a child, and I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah, we can agree on it. I'm saying that the disagreement here is, for me, any physical force applied to a child.
Okay, you have issue with physical force in general.
Yes, I do. For anybody, not just children, for children, for grown-ups, for your partner. I feel, let me just say this, I feel anything you wouldn't do to an adult, this is, let me just make it very clear. Anything you wouldn't do to an adult, right, in terms of physical, whether it's just a spank here, on the bum, on the face, pulling hair, anything you wouldn't physically do to an adult, you shouldn't do to a child either. It's just we are entitled because Esme can't. Okay, but in any event, we can end the debate here. I was just laughing because I find humans, we are interesting in that way. You know, we excuse this, we justify that, we find ways around this, we wiggle around that.
But you do understand that is your opinion.
Yes, of course, it's mine.
And your opinion doesn't necessarily have to be the correct one.
Of course,
okay.
It's mine.
Okay, look.
That's why I'm saying it.
I sort of understand your point with the whole violence, and either you condone it or you don't. Because if it's what's good for the goose is good
for the gander, yes.
Yes. But especially because race is a sensitive issue in Namibia. Yes. So you bringing that into it sort of seems like you're trying to invalidate the whole racial issue here.
I don't condone it.
Because instead of addressing it, it seems like you are deflecting.
No, you're missing it. I think it's wrong what he did.
Yes.
Right? That's not even me deflecting. For me to deflect would be for me to condone it and find, and excuse some other behavior. I don't condone what has happened. I never condone violence.
I just wanted you on the record saying that.
Yes, I don't ever. Anybody that knows me knows I don't condone any form of violence. Any form of violence.
Yeah.
Children, adult, partnership, in any boss, employee, in whatever scenario you can give me. I don't even condone when you, for example, cheat on your partner and she smacks you across the face. Because that's the other thing, right? We always excuse the partners that become violent. Because, my hate partner cheat. I don't even condone that. I mean,
Beyonce's sister beat Jay-Z in the lift.
Even that
you understand?
Completely wrong. Completely wrong.
No, she was screaming, Muro, Muro. Now it's like it's completely wrong.
So I don't condone any violence. For me, it opened another debate because what I'm trying to say is we can't be pro-violence in some situations and anti-violence in other situations. I feel like violence is something we need to be consistent in. If you are anti-violent, then you claim to be anti-violence. That pitch, you should pitch that in all spheres, not make excuse for it in some areas. And this is what we were trying to say, what's good for the geese is good for the... And it's like, for me, consistency in all of it. All of it. In every sphere, every area of your life.
I don't consider spanking my kids violence.
All right.
Because I'm not violent when I'm hitting them. I'm very constrained,
All right.
Yeah, I'm not just smacking them across the face. Like,
all right.
or anything
anyway,
like that.
we're glad you got...
violence.
In any event, we're glad he got fired. That's how you deal with racists and violent people in the 21st century. I hope they take him to court. I hope he faces criminal charges because you must learn.
Maria's really holding this together here.
They would leer as baie verkeerd.
Yeah,
no, you don't do that to a person. I'm
they
sorry.
will throw you in a
no
court.
matter the crime, you don't do that.
In a cell next to the fish rod 6.
As iemand gesteel het, you people that own shops. As iemand gesteel het, belly police.
Yes, exactly.
That's it.
Very true.
Okay. Let me, I guess, read some messages because there are a lot, of course, tying into this particular issue. Akuna Usiku, does the Mega Safe Company policy state that a person that steals should be beaten? If not, then I don't think we should try and even argue about this. But I think the owner of the group did come out and say that the policies it does not reflect the company's policies, and that manager has since been removed from his post.
Let's hope he was fired, not suspended.
Yeah. Joram's
or had the opportunity to resign.
Since she thinks it was discipline related, will she allow her boss, if she have any, to smack her face at work for a mistake at work?
You missed the point, but thank you very much for your contribution.
100% agree with you. It's racial, Mr. Neville Besson. Ricky Klassen, to discipline my child is in no way compared to that video. Maria, no one has a right to spank another person's child. All right, keep that dictionary definition for England. This is Africa. The rod, the hand.
Abuse, jealous kinders. That's it.
The rod, the hand, the plaiki, the zambok, etc. are means of communicating discipline on an African child, right? The boer simply is a racist and an assault case. It's an assault case. We will wait to hear what was happening behind the scenes. It's a pity that there was no audio, though, on the video. Ursula Thomas, why having a debate? Yeah, De Waal was wrong, finish and klar. And the lady don't know what you're talking about. How can you compare a child's discipline with the incident that happened?
Same.
What does the Bible say? Och nee.
Die geloof van die Bijbel, wanneer die Bijbel van jullie vindt. Is verkeerd. Jullie slaan die mensen niet. Is klaar.
Cubase comment on the security beating, and also Leandri van der Walt, I agree with Maria. That's good. Fabian Amkwelele also joining our stream. Josie Motinga, Maria, you are confusing us gents, please. This is not the right way to discipline someone. Aye, Soringo. Good morning, guys. I am late today. What have I missed? Don't worry, you can watch. That's Precious Blessing.
Always play it back.
Yeah, you can always play it back. There are disciplinary actions of our employees regulated by Labor Act. So in that case, Mr. Whoever is totally wrong. And to get to Maria's point of comparing the disciplining of kids at home, these are completely different scenarios, totally incomparable.
Why? I mean, South Africa made it illegal, so clearly we know that it's a situation and it's wrong.
This is not South Africa.
And it's going to catch up in Namibia.
This is not Mzansi.
No, child abuse is wrong,
physical,
period.
Getting physical with your child at home. It's now outlawed in certain parts of the world. So clearly there's reason to think that it's not correct. But okay, like I'm saying, it's okay. I know this is years and years of like mind adjustment because it happened to us, it happened to our parents. It's just a cycle.
But at some point, not what it's about.
At some point, we need to cut it.
If this society will stop looking at my kid and saying, "Man, wie se kinders die?" Het jou ouers jou nie so en so groot gemaak nie. If they don't blame me for his actions, I'm taking responsibility for making sure that he ends up making the right choices because it's my responsibility to raise him.
The other thing, right?
And I have to discipline him.
I understand that. The other thing is you said something very pivotal for me that stuck. You said, yeah, nobody else has the right to like lay a child. Only I can. But you see, this is what I'm trying to say. It's constantly changing because community means like previously when we were younger, your community, everybody could hit you.
Yeah.
In fact, it was encouraged. Yeah. Or said, in fact, if you do something there, your mother will send you back to that house like or your teacher, if you're wrong. Your teacher didn't call your parents and say, your child, your parents will ask, no, what is it?
I remember this day, Maria, now that you're talking about it, there was this very short man in Karatura. He had a very big hump on his back. And my younger sister, Charmaine, and a friend of hers, next door neighbor, they were teasing this old man as he was walking past our house. And I still remember this incident. Because
like your kids, yeah.
And this man came into our yard, highly, highly, highly upset. And my grandmother looked and said, "Oompie, wat het hulle gemaak? Daai kinders hulle kogel vir my." And my grandmother said, "Vat hulle." That uncle, kyk nee, he took off his belt. He beat the crap out of my... I'm standing there, it's a...
Zali, you just...
But that's what happened.
So that uncle just beat the crap out of those. They were crying.
Your grandmother.
So we were standing there, and still today, it has instilled so much respect for my little sister. She's 42 years old today, and she still remember that incident when she was about 6 or 7 years old. Say, that will never happen again.
So this is what I'm trying to say. You're saying no person should lay a hand on your child, but I'm saying it used to be community. Now it's a bit it's changing. Like only I can beat my children, right? But what I'm trying to say, even in your kids' generation, not so much ours, but our kids' generation, they won't even want to touch their own children, because they're like, no, but I was beaten, I didn't, like, I'm going to do this to my children. So it's everything is changing because it is a change of mind of frame. So I do understand why 90% of the people commenting will say, Maria, you can't even, it's not comparable. It's a child, it's a grown up and whatever. Yes, and it is just, it's a culture, it's an upbringing, whatever. So I do understand what people are saying, but I'm saying it's still, I still
Maria,
stand
you
by what I'm
go
saying.
and speak to your judiciary and change the law.
And you know what? I also think, you know, especially that whole thing of community parenting, basically, back in the day. I mean, back then you used to trust almost the majority of the people, almost everybody in your area, in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, thy uncle, but that would you play that. So, you know, right now you don't want anybody else to touch your kids because you're not sure if it's discipline or this guy is just taking out his whatever frustrations.
His own
on your child.
frustrations, yeah.
So, checking out some comments. The community of those days was definitely closely knit and lived as a family. Unlike today, a community where even your neighbors
don't even know their
are
names.
a threat to your safety, yes. How then can you allow them to lay a hand on your child? I heard no gossip on it. What did one do? Oh, like you didn't see the video. There are guys who didn't see the Mega Safe video.
Oh, okay.
You know, trying to figure out what it is.
It's circulating on social media and I think on WhatsApp groups. I mean, it's a terrible scene. You don't want to. It's
I see. Erwin did raise an interesting point here, right? Because he says he sees violence and not necessarily racism, and it's interesting because there is no audio. This is somebody being violent, whether it's you know, directly linked to racism, or is it just somebody who's acting in a violent manner?
Let me ask
because everybody quickly jumped to the conclusion that this was obviously a racist.
My
incident.
question is just that if this was by any chance a white employee who did the same thing,
that's what I was going to ask.
Would he have done the same thing by smacking this employee around?
Would have called the cops.
I don't think so.
That's what I was going to ask. I said to address this, the racial question is to ask ourselves if this guy was, let's say, of the same ranking, but was white, would he have smacked him around? I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
We don't know.
No, he would not have.
Are you sure?
It's not even a question of we don't know.
I mean, it's in all likelihood, what would be the logical thing? It would be that he would have called the cops. I mean, that's what one
the reason
would
I'm
think.
saying I don't know is because I don't have access to the white Afrikaans community.
Yes.
And when I say
There it
access,
is.
and when I say that, when I say I don't have access to the white Afrikaans community, is you might find the Afrikaans community right now say, oh, die, what is the name? Pit Pompie, what's the name?
De
Waal.
Oh, you are so racist.
Okay, Mr. Meneer De Waal is not so what. You hate for V, you know? Like you might find that he just is that.
That's
brazen.
That brazen,
very,
no nonsense, whoever the hell you are.
Yeah.
If he crosses you, you cross him in that sense, so he's gonna smack you across the face, like regardless of race or whatever. But of course, we live in a highly racial country where if you see white, black, you see race.
And this is Hobabas.
Yeah, you see race, and a lot of things are racially motivated and driven. So it's not wrong for people to assume that it's racism.
Yeah.
It's not wrong.
Okay.
But
it's
it's
just
also
a pity
not
there was no audio. I mean, because I think as a nation we need to have the race conversation, because we act like racism is basically not here anymore. It's gone. There's no need to touch on it.
It will always
it's a thing
be
of the
there.
past.
It went with independence.
Yes. It's as a country we'll be able to handle situations like this better once we have that race conversation, because now you know, like debates like that spring up where maybe it's not racist, maybe the guy just stole, or maybe it's what, maybe it's this, maybe that, maybe this.
But we continuously, there are so many incidents or situations that happens throughout the year where we do have the opportunity to discuss racism.
Not on social media. You don't discuss things like that, like especially a nationwide problem that is as sensitive as racism. You don't discuss on social media.
And I know racism is sensitive because I remember last year there was a video of security Tate Silas, I think. Right? You know what I'm talking about.
Which one is
Tate Silas that was beating that Boer man. I think the guy was at the ATM.
I think it was in one of the malls.
Yes, in one of the malls.
Ours Valley Mall.
Yes. And Tate Silas was kicking and you could see was... But everybody actually came to the defense of Tate Silas. Because the man was like, there's Tate Silas, and
Tate Silas, Tate Silas,
So, and again, this was in this, the reverse was true in this case. Yeah. It was now the white guy getting assaulted by a security guard. But everybody was like, what did that man for Tate Silas say? What did he say to Tate Silas for Tate Silas to lose? Because he had a knife, but he wasn't stabbing. It looked like he was threatening.
Silas was like, hey!
but there's racial tension.
Yes, but and back to Maria's point of violence, right? I mean, we are jumping to Tate Silas's defense in that case, but then
condone and
in the other, when you reverse the roles, then no, that's racism.
The other thing now, Maria, it's funny how once we have a discussion about one thing, it leads to another. Talking about racism, I think one of the biggest stories that also came over the festive season was when Norman Chombe, well-renowned lawyer in our country, posted a picture of a white woman that was sitting next to them at a restaurant in Swakopmund. Now, Norman's companion was busy breastfeeding her baby. And this woman, who happens to be white, came over to Norman and his companion, reprimanding them or asking them that, excuse me, ma'am, what you are doing at this moment in public is indecent. You can't be breastfeeding. I'm a bit offended that you sit here in public at a public restaurant and breastfeeding your baby. Can you please cover up? I'm telling you guys, this created such a big debate on social media. And again, she sees this as barbaric. It's public indecency, etc. And obviously, the majority of the people were for the mother who was busy breastfeeding her baby. So, and it was seen once again as an element of racism from this woman. So I don't know what you guys think about this.
I don't want to get into it because I'm very passionate when it comes to publicly feeding your child. Basically feeding your child in public.
Yes.
Because now I see even in European countries they're creating little stalls next to toilets. So they have toilets and then they create this little stalls, cubicle area where mothers can go and breastfeed. And if you're in public, they usually now put a little blanket over because it's public indecency, and then that's nonsense. And I'm very passionate. I'm very pro that. If you need to feed your child, if you whip out your breast, then you feed. That's why they're there.
Yeah.
We've sexualized them, but it's like you don't cover up when you're eating in a restaurant. You don't cover your face when you're eating, even with you're eating with an open mouth. People have to watch you.
My problem is that people would not have any problem if you go down Independence Avenue and you turn left where the Ovahimba women are selling their arts and crafts, where an Ovahimba woman sits there and breastfeed her baby. They would not have a problem with seeing that. But they would have a problem if Maria,
in a posh restaurant,
breastfeeds her baby. Yeah. So is watching the Ovahimba woman breastfeeding a baby, is that entertainment for you?
Yes.
And no, that's a picture.
You've Africanized it, like
that's a picture that goes on a postcard.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
You post it. You even post next to them. Wait, don't take the baby off the breast yet.
Yeah.
It's and let me tell you, the racism element is that entitlement again. You as a white person seeing a black woman breastfeeding, the entitlement is the racism comes, the entitlement of, you could have just eaten your food and shut up and kept quiet and whispered about it, like, you can't say, no more egg borscht, okay. You could have just kept the conversation there at your table, but no. You were so entitled.
She walked
you had
over there.
so much audacity because of your whiteness. And this, we know what whiteness means, right? That you are entitled. You've been able to get away with reprimanding people, telling securities crap, tell us whatever you want to tell them, telling the waitress, telling Tatasila's crap. You're so entitled. You feel the need to get out of your seat. Just stand up. You go over across the room to a woman that is breastfeeding to go and tell her to cover up. That's entitlement. And there's an element of racism there. Sorry. Anyway.
Look, okay. Producers create so on the up. But you see, that's why I was saying we need to have the race conversation as a country. Okay? Once we get past some of these things, then we might not jump always to the racism, because white people are assholes too. Sometimes
and
the person is just
assholes too.
Yeah, but sometimes the person is not racist; they're just an ass.
And that's what I'm saying. Sometimes it's black people that do it to us.
So once we have the conversation, we'll be able to differentiate. It's like, diners net. Oh, okay, that one is racist. You know.
Yes.
So yeah, let's have the conversation. White people, we're open. Let's talk. Reparations, baby. Reparations. We're out of here, man. We're back tomorrow morning.
We got 2 more minutes to read some of the comments. Wait, Wola, read the comments.
Yeah, read
we
the
normally bust out of here by 10 past.
I don't know why he's rushing us.
I don't know why you're rushing.
You have a date or something. We are here till 10 past.
Science is going.
Even 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You guys are unruly.
Yeah.
Okay. The gentleman is recognized.
Can you read the comments?
Are you? What did they say, Uga?
We're losing time.
There are no comments. What comments do you guys want me to read?
You're lying.
I have a feeling there may be racism involved there, because if that employee was of his race, would we still have had dealt with him or her the same way? Okay. Coronavirus. Are we safe, guys?
Oh yeah, good question. Just don't go to Chinatown.
Are we what?
Are we safe?
Coronavirus.
Oh, yeah.
Don't go to Chinatown.
They say it came from what? From some poisonous snake in China?
Nee, julle wat mos kapana gaan eet in China. Apparently this happened at one of these open markets, very similar to our kapana stalls.
It's easy for things to fester there in China.
Yeah, it's a lot of people.
Mary, you guys remember? Maria was recently in China.
That's what I'm saying. Diseases can fester very quickly in China, I tell you now. Let's get out of here. We're back tomorrow morning. Stick around for Mr. Hannes Kaufman. He's got your back for the next 3 hours in the mix. Also, Derka's on the info drive here a bit later on. Stick with Informanté Radio.
We got a very interesting topic tomorrow morning, but we'll touch on that.
Freedom of speech.
Freedom is coming. Okay.
Now your energy is up. Now I don't want to go. All right, we're out of here, guys.